Juz 23 starts off with speaking of the one believer in the community who chose to follow Allah's command. In Yasin, verse 22, "Why should I not worship the one who has brought me into being? It is to him that you will all return." His story ends with him in Jannah, قِيلَ ادْخُلِ الْجَنَّةِ, and the destruction of the disbelievers of his community. It was but one loud shout. 29. The surah then talks about Allah's signs in the universe, also presents a long scene from the Day of Judgment, showing the fate that the disbeliever hastened. 30 to 68. The surah concludes reiterating the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, stating the ultimate reality, "To him all will return." Verse 83. Saffat starts off with describing the three types of angels. The Saffat, the ones that come in rows. The Zajirat, the ones that rebuke the disbelievers. The Taliyat, the ones who recite Allah's words. 6 to 10 speaks of the jinns and how they try to eavesdrop on what's going on amongst the angels. To the man who continues to receive the message with ridicule, 11 to 68 questions their assumptions of their own creation, leading to a refutation of what they used to say about resurrection, followed by a conversation between the dwellers of Jannah and the inhabitants of Jahannam, concluding with the mention of the food and drink of the people of hell. 69 to 148 then moves on to speak about the believers and disbelievers of Nuh alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, and his encounter with his people who worshipped idols, his dream, his sacrifice with Ismail alayhi salam, and within that story is a reference made to Musa, Harun, Ilyas, Lut alayhi salam, concluding with Yunus alayhi salam and the fish. The surah ends declaring the ultimate victory of the believers and refuting the superstitious beliefs of the Arabs who thought that angels are the daughters of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or that Allah has children. Closing the surah on a special note, glorifying Allah, sending salam to the messengers, and praising Allah Rabbul Alameen. Surah Sad starts with an oath by the Quran, then speaking of the different tests to different prophets, like Dawud alayhi salam regarding a judgment, Sulaiman alayhi salam regarding how he ran the affairs of his kingdom, the test of hardship and difficulty with Ayyub alayhi salam and his beautiful patience, then making a reference to Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub alayhi salam, and Dhul Kifl. The following section is a lengthy discussion of Iblis and Adam alayhi salam, concluding the surah speaking of the Quran. Indeed, it is a reminder for the worlds. Dhikrul lil alameen. In time, you will certainly come to know its truth. Verse 88. Next, the first 31 ayahs of Zumar conclude this juz, again starting with the discussion of the Quran, inviting to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with sincerity, drawing attention to His signs in the universe and then in the creation of life itself, man from his stages in the darkness of the womb, and the cattle that is created in pairs. Perhaps hearts will open up. Regardless, at the end of the passage, the surah gives an example of the one who worships the one Allah and the one who worships multiple gods. The two cannot be equal and cannot hold the same position.
من أجبت دعاء نوح فانتصر وحملته في فلكك المشحون يا من أحال النار حول خليله روحا وريحانا